Hi Sagittarius, I'm Eleanor and I'm here with your first week of February pick a card reading. This week we're talking about grounding. So we have this Earth card and Page of Pentacles, which is being at the beginning of a process. The videos where these cards came out are linked below, as well as how to get a personal reading with me. Please subscribe because I do one of these every week. If you want to see how the story unfolds, you want to keep up, hit that subscribe button. And anytime during the video, if I say something that's of service to you or you hear something that you like and makes sense to you, hit that button. And also, please comment and let me know how this grounding earthly energy is influencing you or how you're being affected by it. And also please ask any questions. I'm really good about responding in the comments. I'm using the Earth Wisdom Oracle and Science Tarot. I stack 1, 2, and 3. They're time stamped below. Let's get going. Alright, Sagittarius, stack 1. 10 of Swords, uncertainty. Make room, okay. 2 of Swords, action. And boundaries. So 10 of Swords, in this sense, it feels like you have come to, in this deck it is talking about drilling down and down and down and cutting things into smaller and smaller parts, looking at the molecules and then the atoms, and then there's a point where you can think it into smaller and smaller pieces and you're not going to find the information there. That you've come to a dead end in terms of what you can accomplish by using thought and picking apart and teasing apart all the pieces and looking at them individually. You've gone beyond the point of that being useful and being able to reveal anything to you helpful, and it's time to back up and it's time to make a choice. This action is where it's like you have all the information you could possibly need and more, and some that's useless to you that you've probably gone too far with, and you need to be able to trim off the superfluous, the excess, the redundant, and make a choice and be prepared for the consequences of that choice. When we sometimes 2 of Swords, to me, is talking about knowing what your choices are, but not being prepared yet to accept the consequences of either one. And so it is at a point where you are going to have to move, and it's as though you keep trying to buy more time by thinking about it more, and you can put it off more. And if you just get one more thought, thinking about it just a little more, and if you dig just a little deeper, you can find the tiebreaker and figure out which choice. And it's time to move. And with boundaries, grounding, earth energy, starting something from the beginning, I'm hearing for you that this action is going to be around anything. So it's like you're building a fence, putting stakes in the ground for your fence, setting boundaries. So it means saying no to anything that's going to throw you back up into your head like this. So it's not, as with any readings, you have your free will, and this isn't like advice, this is what you must do. You have to choose what resonates for you and what makes sense for you. So it's not say no, period. It is around anything, set boundaries and say no to anything that you know that is going to push you back up into your head, that's going to cause you anxiety, cause you worry, cause you to overthink. No boundaries around, say no, set boundaries around anything like that. That's going to put you back up there into that place of non-action and non-ability to act. Out of the earth and back up into the air, into your mind. Because this month is all about your abundance, your money, your finance, your physical well-being. It's all going to be about acting in the physical world, and you don't need to be wasting time up in your head this month. There is time for thought. I would give different advice at a different time and a different energy, but this energy is to be grounding in reality, not up in your head. So say no to anything that's going to put you up into your head. All right, Sagittarius, stack 2, you have the Emperor, crystallization, judgment, natural selection, and prosperity. So there is going to be a solidification of your experiences, figuring out and going back, researching what has worked for you and what has not worked when it comes to your abundance, when it comes to your financial well-being, when it comes to your sense of wealth, however you define that. It doesn't have to be around money. It can be around your gratitude. It can be around your family. All those things that we define as wealth other than money. It can be any of those things for you. But it is solidifying and bringing into a package, almost packaging, a programming, formulating what is it that has worked and what is it that doesn't, and you create a system. And what's important to note here is that it's going to be unique to you. You can't incorporate the advice of others. You can't incorporate what you've anecdotally known to work for someone else, or what your parents told you, or what Susie Orman or whatever told you. It's going to be not theoretical. It's going to be based on what you have observed working and not working for you specifically, and ground yourself in that. All right, stack 3, Sagittarius, you have Page of Wands, Carolyn Herschel. 9 of Wands, space and creativity. So Carolyn Herschel is representing the Page of Wands in this deck because she was driven by a passion for discovery despite the obstacles of the 19th century scientific community, right? So I feel as though there is a blockage between your ideas and your inspirations and your passions, blockage between that and bringing them, grounding them in the earth and starting the process in a physical way. So where there seem to be a lot of ideas floating around and a lot of potential energy, there's something stopping you from actually taking action, from actually investing time, resources, energy, making it not just a concept, but taking your concept and making a model, taking your concept and making a mock-up, making plans, making blueprints, something that you can show for it in actual reality, and not just, well, this cool thing I was thinking about, but have something to show for it. Because by doing so, you're showing that you're taking it seriously, and there's almost a sense to where you don't want anyone to know how seriously you take it by taking that step. And so space in this particular deck speaks on how impossible it is that you exist, the rarity and the singularity of your time here. And if you think about that and you come into that headspace and you remind yourself of that and you ground yourself in that idea, do you have time for that kind of BS thinking? I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, Sagittarius? Thank you. Please subscribe because I have more coming up next week.